Thank you so much. It's great to see so many people here. Not that you had any choice, most of you. It's not very often. I've worked in education for a long, long time. And I've worked in universities as well as schools. And it's not very often I can introduce somebody who's a professor of education who is actually going to do something with kids. And what Sugata's going to do with kids was absolutely his suggestion. I didn't say, come to ISF, I'm going to give you 20 kids and I want you to do something with them. Because I wouldn't dream of a professor doing anything with 20 kids other than observing them from a distance. But he said, I'd like to actually do something with some kids. Give me some younger kids. I want to do something with them. And I said, okay, what? And he said, I don't know yet. So all the people here have been asking me what's going to happen. And I've been kind of fending you off saying, well, maybe this, maybe that. The reason is I didn't know, and I still don't know. Seriously, Professor Mitra is very eminent, and I'm delighted that he's here. It's been a few years since we've worked together. He's just one of those rare people. So I'm going to hand over to him.
All right. After that introduction, the only direction this whole session can go in is sort of downwards. Everybody talks about change and how quickly things are changing, etc., etc. We all know that story. But how does it actually translate to you and me? We're in the middle of such enormous change that we don't actually see that change. It's incredible, isn't it? We have little rectangular plasticky thing that gives you answers to questions. The old Greeks had imagined that. Remember, they used to have this thing called the Oracle of Delphi. But we live with the Oracle of Delphi. More importantly, our children live with them. And we'll continue to live with them. And we, and this institution, like the school here, are going to prepare them for the future. I've come to this school, I don't know much about it, except that it's very pretty, the drive up. That's all I know. I don't know the children that I'm going to meet. I don't know what I will ask them to do, because I haven't prepared. In other words, I haven't done anything that a teacher training program would have prepared me for. So therefore, according to classical education, what you should see in the next 30-35 minutes is chaos. Okay? Absolutely the stuff that shouldn't be happening in school, But the only thing that I'm going to give them, which normally in most teaching sessions they don't, is I'm going to give them the internet. It's not very good to have individual single children looking up little phones privately. It's very bad. Okay? Because you know the nature of the internet, it's not it's a great place, but it's got all sorts of things. But what I found in those 20 years of experiments, particularly in India, is that if you have the internet on a screen that big, visible to every single person who's around, you can give that to the children. Nothing goes wrong. All I'm saying is, make the internet public and safe. If it is public, it becomes safe anyway. Okay? You'll see. Well done. So that's what. So now for the experiment. Okay. Are you ready? Are you nervous? No? Yes? Okay. I am. All right. We are going to make up a question. You all use the internet, don't you? Yeah? Does anybody use WhatsApp? Yeah? So when you send a message from one phone to another on WhatsApp, I go click, 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 and send, and boom, it's there. So how does it get there? How does it get to the other phone? Okay, so he's saying it goes up into the sky, into a satellite, and then it comes back down onto the other phone. Do you think, should we treat that as a hypothesis? So that can't be it. What could it be?
A signal.
A signal. Everyone's WhatsApping everybody all the time and sending messages and receiving messages and things like that. And nobody seems to know how it works. You know why?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. The thing is, would you agree that the one thing in this room that does know exactly how the internet works is the internet? Okay, so why don't we ask it? But I gave you only these 4 computers so that you can talk to each other and you can see what other people are doing. Now, I know in school this is not allowed, but for this experiment it is. You can see what other people are doing, you can walk around, you can talk to them, because I'm not interested in who finds the answer. I'm only interested in what the answer is. And it's got to come from you as a group. Before we all go from this room, we should know what is the internet and how does it work. Okay? It's the opposite of school. In school, you sit around and I tell you everything. You're going to tell us something that's very, very important for all of us. You want to take that on? We've got to finish everything by about 3 o'clock this afternoon, which means we've got 35 minutes. I'm going to leave the last 10 minutes for you to tell me what the answers are. So that gives us about 25 minutes. I'm going to give you 25 minutes. There are 4 computers out here and that big computer on the wall. And that's it. I don't know what else you can do. You see, the good news is that as far as this question is concerned, I, as the teacher, do not know the answer. I have no idea how you're going to get to that answer in 25 minutes, and I don't know anything. So off you go.
It connects with the Bluetooth.
5 minutes more. 5 minutes more. All right. So we'll take maybe 1 or 2 people from each of the groups that you formed, and I noticed that you were working in groups. All right.
It's a big wire underneath the ground, and then it goes up into the satellites, and it goes down into another phone.
The router from your computer sends it to the closest router near it.
And then it goes, from that router, it goes through another router, the closest one, and it has a satellite of its own, so it sends, instead of like having 4 satellites around it,
Then somebody else's. So if you want to have better network, you have to pay more money.
Okay, I'll tell you all about that in a moment. But the point is, let's get back to the internet. So we have a pretty cool idea of what the internet is. But we will finish this, but I just want you to keep one thing in mind. Do you realize that you found this out in 25 minutes? Do you realize that in this whole city, with all those millions of people, all those tourists, there are very few people who know as much about the internet as you know in 25 minutes. I'm not joking. Okay? So, isn't that what should be happening in schools? This super fast learning about the questions to which no one knows the answer. Wouldn't that be cool? Do you like a question which has an answer which the teacher knows, or would you like a question that no one knows the answer?
No one knows.
By and large, human beings are like that. We like those questions which no one knows the answer to. Okay?
Because internet is like information that people are spreading, but if people don't know the internet.
Wow, that's fantastic. What she said was that the internet, well, actually I should have said that. The internet is basically made up of people. We don't think of it that way, no? We kind of think of it as up there, but it's us. We are the internet. So what she's saying is, if there's something that people don't know, the internet doesn't know either. I think we should give her a hand on that one. You know, this whole process, it has a name now. It's called a self-organized learning environment, or a SOLE, S-O-L-E. Why self-organized? Because see what you did. When you came in, I didn't know what I was going to do. You didn't know what you were going to do. I didn't tell you where to sit. You found your chairs. I didn't tell you what groups to make. You made your groups. I didn't tell you what questions to ask. You asked your questions. And then finally, you put it all together and you gave me the answer. But the important thing is that in most classrooms, at the end of let's say a science class, somebody says, so how did you learn this? And you say, the teacher taught me. But for a soul, if somebody were to ask me, who taught them about the internet? Well, I didn't. It just happened. I just want to show you one thing. Because you said such lovely things about networks, I want to show you something that will take only a minute. Okay? What you have to do is you have to clap in unison. Okay? Can you do that? Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. That took about 5 seconds. If you listen to it very carefully, and if you play it back in slow speed, you'll see that the first 2 or 3 seconds were chaotic. People were just clapping, everything. And then all the claps came together. Right? You heard that? I could now ask you a question. Who brought the claps together? Do you know something? Yeah? Them? But who among them? Did she bring the claps together? Did she bring the claps together?
James did that. I think he did it last.
You know, yeah?
Everybody.
So everybody did, but the thing is, everybody is not a person. Okay? But that is the heart of the internet. When you say the internet is a network of billions of people, it's something. It's not any of those billions. Just as the clappers didn't bring the claps together, something else did. Okay? It's very hard. It's very hard, and it's got a very long name. It's a subject that I now get more and more interested in. Maybe when you grow up, you'll do it also. What you should go away from this room with is that for the last 1,000 years or more, would you believe this? No one has been able to figure out what brings the claps together. Okay, that's it. That's the end of the session.